We back on here. I got you. Twitch set as my main source going forward, and YouTube is my secondary source. You know, if that wants to persist any longer. Anyways, we're ready to get right into it. Let me do this real quick. Shout out to Zelly Smoker who followed me on Twitch 13 days ago. Appreciate it, appreciate it. But anyways, yeah, we about ready to get into it. Let me check my bag at work. Trying to. Okay, there's a good enough percentage. So let's get right into the second. Let's just start from the beginning.
Lord Drakkon has been the most important villain in Power Rangers comics since he appeared in 2016, and the best stories feature him. This character has gone through many stages and became so famous that they had to start selling products of him. This is going to be a very special episode in which we get to see the possible end of Lord Drakkon's story, but since he has previously returned after we had thought it had already been his end, then you don't know if this will really be forever. In the previous episode we saw that the Rangers were in safe haven and Lord Drakkon entered the Morphin Grid, but the Ranger Slayer, who was being controlled by Dark Spectre, also entered the grid. This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book number 116. In the dimension of the Coinless, which was the dimension that Lord Drakkon ruled, there he was before the events of the Shattered Grid happened. At that moment, the Ranger Slayer arrives to inform him about the success of his mission, and Lord Drakkon was very happy with Kimberly's work. Drakkon begins to congratulate Kimberly for everything she has done and tells her that he chose his Ranger Slayer well. Then Kimberly starts telling him that she will do anything he says, anything he wants, but Drakkon wanted her to be his mate, and that was the one thing she wasn't willing to do. Going back to the present, we can see that Drakkon is inside the grid, and in that place, everything is destroyed. While we see these images, we can also read Drakkon's thoughts as if they were a narration of his life, and he says that his whole story has been complex. He also says that many have called him a murderer, a king, or a god. He has been all that, and if he could, he would be again. Unfortunately, he has run out of opportunities. Drakkon arrives at a place with no way out. This seems quite strange to him, and then he realizes that the Ranger Slayer is in that place. The battle begins, and the Ranger Slayer gives him a strong kick that introduces him inside that dark cloud. Apparently, this dark cloud is the evil power that transforms Rangers into Dark Spectre's slaves, and even though Ranger Slayer is trying to cast a spell on Drakkon, this isn't working. Drakkon shows him the white light power coin and tells him that Zordon designed that coin to never be corrupted by evil. That is why Dark Spectre's power cannot transform Drakkon. In Safe Haven, the Rangers are still in the great battle, and now Kia realizes that Drakkon escaped through the Master Arch to enter the grid. The Rangers do not seem to be winning the battle, as there are too many enemies, and many of them are other Rangers that Dark Spectre has enslaved. On Earth, the other Rangers are preparing a way out so that the Rangers in the battle can escape, and Morgan warns Kimberly that they have little time left to escape. Rita realizes that Bulk is a strong Ranger, so she starts trying to cast a spell on him so she can transform him into part of her army, and Kimberly tells Billy that it's time to escape. Billy says that they all need to be close so he can bring them back. So all the Rangers start running for the same place, and Billy teleports them all at the same time. Morgan confirms that this powerful teleportation was thanks to the energy of the Energem, and quickly the Phantom Ranger wants to know if everyone could make it. Unfortunately, not everyone made it. Kia stayed behind to put an explosive in the Master Arch because she was angry with Drakkon and thinks that by destroying the arch he won't be able to return. Inside the grid, Drakkon and Ranger Slayer continue to fight, and despite all of Kimberly's attempts, Drakkon continues to fight. Because Ranger Slayer is filled with Dark Specter's dark power, she is strongly attacking Drakkon, who begins to say that he made a mistake when he created her. Drakkon admits that he loved Kimberly, and this made him so weak that he failed to take her life when he should have. Ranger Slayer mocks Drakkon's weakness, but then he hits her hard and breaks her helmet. We can see Kimberly's face filled with the dark energy, and she confirms that the grid shows us the location of Drakkon's dimension, since that place is important to him. Drakkon says that this place is important to him because that is where Rita found him and gave him her name. Kimberly also tells him that she remembers when he gave her a name, and Drakkon repeats that she was a very good servant. Ranger Slayer says that nothing was enough for him, as he always wanted more. He even wanted to force her to love him, and he never had mercy, as he did not take her life. He even made her a slave, and even her mind could not be free. Kimberly shoots an arrow at him, but Drakkon manages to dodge it and then tells her that now she doesn't have her mind free either. She explains to him that Dark Specter only wants servitude, not love, so she is going to serve him until her last remaining breath, and Drakkon then wants to help her so she can be free. In Safe Haven, Dark Specter is very angry with Rita and starts yelling insults at her for letting the Rangers escape, as well as allowing them to destroy the Master Arch. Dark Specter thinks that now Rita is no longer of any use to him, and this scares the witch very much, as she can recognize that Dark Specter is very powerful. In a desperate attempt to remain relevant to Dark Specter, Rita tells him that she can help him to continue to have access to the grid. She had previously opened the Master Arch using the grid energy inside her, and now with this scepter that is filled with dark energy, Dark Specter will be able to access the grid. As the infection continues to spread, Dark Specter's power will continue to grow, and he can feel all that power. There are still many Rangers who are not infected, and Dark Specter wants to turn them into slaves. We get to see some of these teams, and this includes the newest team, the Dino Fury. We can also see some events that are happening in different places: Lord Zed fighting the Hyper Forces because he felt betrayed, Alpha 1 locking up the Rangers that failed to escape Safe Haven, and the Rangers that managed to escape are
Oh my God, here we go. Kimberly calculated from the beginning, how do I become famous?
This is your grandson.
on Earth very worried. Meanwhile, Drakkon and Ranger Slayer continue in their battle, and Drakkon tells her that he wants to help her since she should never have been trapped. Kimberly feels that her purpose was always to be a slave, since Drakkon and Dark Specter have not let her free, but Drakkon tells her that he thinks differently now. Again, the comic shows us Lord Drakkon's narration of his life, saying that his story was complex, and meanwhile we can see that Ranger Slayer has thrown an arrow at him, but Drakkon also threw the dagger at him. A very important moment in this story of Lord Drakkon is when he continues to talk about his life and says that he has run out of chances. Ranger Slayer has managed to stick the arrow in his chest, but Drakkon also managed to stick her with the dagger, but not with the intention of ending her life. Then the white light power coin appears on the dagger, and this energy begins to destroy all the dark energy inside Kimberly and frees her from Dark Specter's power. Drakkon begins to say his last words as the arrow had hit his chest, but he could see that his plan had worked to free Kimberly. In a trembling voice, Drakkon tells her that he now sees her free, and then hands her the white light power coin, but also warns her that this gift comes with some conditions. One last command from your Lord Drakkon: save the universe. You must seek out the Morphin Masters. Then with his last breath of life he tells Kimberly not to let the villains win. Finally, Drakkon died.
the end of that video. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Y'all stay tuned.